The buzz. The buzz. The buzz, the buzz, the buzz. Just like the beginner's business bloopers. How many times am I going to say it? Take care of your business. Your business will take care of you if you take care of your business. If you don't take care of your business, somebody else is going to take care of your business. Without any regrets. What I see from time to time, it's easy to apply for an EIN as quick as they can bat their eyes. But the most important thing that should be on top of that list, and I've mentioned before, is making sure you cover your ass. What I mean about that is your name is very important. If your name is that buzz name that everybody wants, then you better be on top of it. Because if you don't be on top of it, and you let that website go, and you know you've been getting a lot of things, and you don't keep up with your money to make sure that things that are important is keeping your website running, claiming your name, meaning actually applying for your patents, applying for your trademarks, copyrights. I don't care what you do in life, these should be on the top of the list. You should at least have at least a minimum of $300 just to get the name alone. But if you all technical, you got more than one thing going on, you need to at least save up at least $2,000 or $3,000 set on the side just for your patenting, copyrights, trademarks, and all. Your website expenses. This is just the bare minimum. I'm going to tell you a little story, okay, about a business owner. 2014, he established his business. Got the flyest name in town. It was catchy. He had already thought of this name way before he even started his business. And so when he decided to get his business, he did pretty much everything right. He started out as a sole prop. Business booming, clearing anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 a month. Everything fine. Had employees, had people that was working self-employed. But the person had something lingering in the background. And just because it's lingering does not halt. It's how you decide to come out on top. That moment he decided to clear his debt to society. Went away for 2 years. Business had to shut down. But you know what that person did? They made sure that their website it went down, but they owned every name that you could possibly. But when it came to the actual name that they was using, where they had all the traffic coming in, him being away, the person that was in charge didn't have enough income to hold the website. So less than 2 months, somebody snatched up and grabbed it. Used the same exact name, different type of business. It's not like they had patented. They were just using because it was a catchy name. One of those names, some rhymes, some rhythms, some beats. It's just so catchy. It starts a trend throughout society. It makes it into the mainstream mouths. In Hollywood, you'd be surprised. a small business in a major city, or it can be in a little city. It doesn't make a difference, or in a country. But if you got that name, that magical name, it can go places that you least suspect. But the main thing is protecting yourself. He had all the other things tied up that he possibly. They filed the returns, even though they didn't have income. They filed the zero tax returns just to keep their EIN effectively, let them know. But then they did still have the store operating online, meaning that they had products. They didn't just have a service. They had a service, and then they had products that they can provide online. So it's all about your choices of what type of business you go in. But this particular person, they had more than one thing going on. They had a beauty salon, they had a barbershop, they had the other personal service business, they were selling products. They had a lot of things going. But that time that he decided to pay his debt to society and not to fight for himself, that 2 years almost cost his whole business. The person he had that was supposed to help did not pull through like they were supposed to. The workers didn't want to pay or the independent contractors didn't want to pay their booth rent. It was just like everything just started falling apart. But they wanted their tools, but they wanted to come to work every day. They wanted to come to this business, not pay any rent, contribute to the building of the cost of being there, knowing the situation. But what happened is those same people, they went somewhere else. While this person finally comes out, the biggest struggle. It seemed like a struggle. Everything else was fine, but now it's protecting the name. The name was already protected under trademark, but it wasn't completely. So he went back in business once he arrived back home. He had somebody supporting him, had the best, because they knew that this person is the brand. See, you can have all the products. And your products, so you may be thinking you're the product selling. You could be the actual brand. You yourself is the brand. Depending on what type of service or what type of person. People come sometimes just to have a good time, to say hello, or just because you're nice, or just to get away. They'll spend just because they don't want to be somewhere else. But they know they can come to your place and be happy. But this young man, he was so persistent, he opened his business back up. And he's determined that he just want to restructure everything. He restructured the whole business. It was a partnership that he said he had so many levels of the business with the corporation, LLC. He said, I need to protect my name. Because when he got home, what had happened is overseas in Atlanta, Georgia, two different people took his name. One, same kind of business, used his name knowing that it was trademarked. Went into business, same like business. It happens, even though it may be trademarked. People will infringe on you. In the one out of country, same like business, it's the same thing. So, the restructure is going right back to the drawing board, going back to the law firm and talking about it. He included everything that he thought he didn't include, that he know that he possibly was going to use, rather if he had a service, and he said, but I might be inspired to use that same name to do something else, like sell shoes. I may want the name of my business, the name of my shoes. He patented everything that he He trademarked everything, every thing that you possibly, from media, radio. He covered the name. He went back and restructured the whole total name. Not just the first two lines, the whole name. Oh, it might have cost him close to $2,000 or $3,000, but it was worth it because he knew the value of his brand. Because that name is ringing internationally, locally, throughout the United States. So he's on his feet, back to recovery. The 2 years is what you have to understand. If you decide to go in business and something happened, the what if? The buzz, you got that buzz. Your business is a buzz. And something drastic happened, whether if it's illness, sickness, incarceration, I don't care what is it, death, and it halts your business. Still maintain the foundation. You can always pick back up and start over with that same business. Still keep it moving with the important things, with the tax returns. Do the things that you need to do to keep your name and keep the business active. You can put it down temporary. What he did is he put it down temporary close. He had already did everything and covered everything that you possibly can on advertisement. But the same amount of energy it took him to invest in time to get his business advertised and out there, he took that same interest to temporarily close it. Always close up properly. If you got that buzz, do the right thing. Because that same buzz, I don't care how long you go away, that buzz can come back alive. You just have to want it bad enough for the buzz to continue on. The catch is he kept the buzz going on even though he was away 2 years. Because he kept products. He kept his social media platforms up. Your buzz only die if you stop doing it. Keep that buzz going. Even when you're not even making a dime. Put it always on somebody's mind. The buzz. When your buzz comes, you better let it soar and continue to soar. Because the buzz can die out just as quick as it come in if you don't put nothing into it. Sometimes you have to go over and beyond to continue that buzz where it'll stay as a household name for a lifetime. So, hopefully you liked the little story. Hopefully it inspired you. And don't forget to keep your buzz and whatever buzz you have, whatever name, whatever jingle, whatever song, whatever you did, protect yourself and keep the buzz alive and protect it. Because you know, what you don't take care of, someone else will. Hope you enjoy Beginner's Business Bloopers. BBB. See you next time. Well, let's start off with the definition. A limited liability company, LLC, is a business structure allowed by the state statute. Each state may use different regulations. You should check with your state if you are interested in starting a limited liability company. So you're going to start with your state first. Owners of an LLC are called members. Most states do not restrict ownership, so memberships may include individuals, corporations, or other LLCs, and foreign entities. There is no maximum number of members. Most states also permit single-member LLCs, those having only one owner. A few types of businesses generally cannot be LLCs, such as banks and insurance companies. Check your state requirements in the federal tax regulations for further information. There are special rules for foreign LLCs. The biggest thing is classifications. A lot of time people get caught up because when they're starting their business, they usually just either do the sole prop, or they may select a S corp or a C corp and just don't know which way to go. But when you're dealing with a limited liability company, IRS gives you the opportunity in the beginning when you apply for your EIN to decide which one you choose to be, and if you need a reclassification. Depending on the election made by the LLC and the number of members, the IRS will treat an LLC as either a corporation, a partnership, or as part of the LLC's owner's tax return. It's a disregarded entity. Specifically, a domestic LLC with at least two members is classified as a partnership for federal income tax purposes unless it files Form 8832 and affirmatively elects to be treated as a corporation. So you have to elect to be treated as a corporation. So you have to remember to fill out the Form 8832 with the Internal Revenue Service. For the income tax purpose, an LLC with only one member is treated as an entity disregarded as a separate from its owner, unless it files Form 8832 and elects to be treated as a corporation. However, for purpose of employment tax and certain excise tax, an LLC with only one member is still considered a separate entity. So there you go for the classification. And one more thing we're going to cover about this LLC. The limited liability company, possible repercussions. An LLC that is not automatically classified as a corporation and does not file Form 8832 will be classified for federal tax purpose under the default rules. The domestic default classification depends on whether there is one member or more than one member. An LLC that has one member will be classified as a disregarded entity. A disregarded entity is one that is disregarded as an entity separate from its owner. An entity that has more than one member will be classified as a partnership. The activity of a single member disregarded LLC owned by an individual are generally reflected on Form 1040 or a 1040-SR, Schedule C, profit and loss from business, sole proprietorship, Form 1040 or 1040-SR, Schedule E, supplemental income or loss, Form 1040 or 1040-SR, Schedule F, profit or loss from farming. An individual owner of a single-member disregarded LLC that operates a trade or business is subject to the tax on the net earnings from self-employment in the same manner as a sole proprietorship. An individual owner, you understand what I'm saying here, so hopefully you understand this. If the single-member disregarded LLC is owned by a corporation or partnership, the activities of the LLC should be reflected on its owner's federal tax return as a division of the corporation or partnership. There are subsequent elections. An LLC can elect to change its classification. Generally, once an LLC has elected to change its classification, it cannot elect again to change its classification during the 60 months after the effective date of the election. An election by a newly formed LLC that is effective on the date of formation is not considered a change for purposes of the limitation. For more information and exceptions, you need to resort to the IRS code Regulation Section 301.7701-3C. And the instructions attached, which will be a Form 8832 Entity Classification Election Form. Election to change classification can have significant tax consequences based on the following transactions that are deemed to occur as a result of the election. And then you have your partnership to your corporation. Election change classification from a partnership to a corporation. So a person that has a partnership and they have an interest in changing it to a corporation will be treated as if the partnership contributed all of its assets, liabilities to the corporation in exchange for stock. And the partnership then immediately liquidated by distributing the stock to its partner or partners. And you can find these references on publication 541 under partnership and publication 542 under the corporation of the IRS.gov. You can go there and download the publications. They're free, or you can go to the walk-in office and request one. They should have them in person accessible for you. Corporation to partnership. An election to change classification from corporation to a partnership will be treated as if the corporation distributed all of its assets and liabilities to its shareholders in liquidation, and the shareholders then immediately contributed all of the distributed assets and liabilities to a new partnership. Now, corporations to a disregarded entity. Election to change classification from corporation to a disregarded entity will be treated as if the corporation distributed all of its assets and liabilities to its single owner in liquidation. You can get more information out of the publication 542 concerning distribution of shareholders. Disregarded entity to corporation. An election to change classification from a disregarded entity to a corporation will be treated as if the owner of the disregarded entity contributed to all the assets and liabilities to the corporation in exchange for stock. And you can follow up with exchange for stock in the publication 542 dealing with corporations. Special rules apply when your LLC has an operating loss. The amount of the loss you can deduct may be limited by the at-risk rules because of the limited liability for LLC debts. Passive activity loss limitations may restrict the amount of loss you can deduct. So, IRS have this publication called 925. It's passive activity and at-risk rules. And it give you all the at-risk rules. So hopefully this is to give you clarity on the things that can occur when you're trying to change from one entity to the next entity, dealing with LLC. So hopefully you enjoyed this podcast, and I hope to hear you soon. BBB, Beginner's Business Bloopers.